I, 26 female, did not realize my boyfriend, 42 male, is a married man. He got me pregnant and now his wife wants to have a chat with me. Several years ago, I unwittingly became involved with a married man. When we initially met and started our relationship, I had no inkling of his marital status. I checked his social media, where I found pictures of his children but no mention or photos of a wife. It wasn't until about a month later that I discovered he was married. He assured me it was merely a formality, that they led separate lives, and agreed to remain married until their children were older. They co-owned a business, but she managed it while he provided financial support. At the time, I knew I should question his story, but I convinced myself it was true. In my early 20s, I was strongly drawn to him, almost infatuated. He made me feel incredible. Looking back, I realize I should have ended it right then, but I was addicted to the attention, the great sex, and the places he took me. I felt special and naive. About a year into our relationship, I became pregnant. Despite always being cautious about preventing pregnancy, I took foolish risks with him. I was so overwhelmed by lust that I agreed to almost anything, even when I knew it was unwise. I believed I was in love with him. Although I dreamed of being his wife and having a family, I understood it wasn't possible while he remained married. I didn't become pregnant intentionally with hopes of him leaving his wife for me, even though I longed for a genuine relationship. I was surprised by how thrilled I was to be pregnant with his child. I cherished the thought of carrying his baby, although I knew he likely didn't share the same sentiment. When I revealed my pregnancy to him, he insisted I terminate it. I anticipated his reaction, but it devastated me to realize he didn't feel the same way. He offered financial compensation, a lavish weekend getaway, or a special gift if I agreed to abort the baby. He explained that he didn't want more children and couldn't openly acknowledge another child while pretending to be happily married. I agreed to his plan and got ready for him to pick me up. But as the time approached, I felt scared and unsafe. I took my bag and checked into a hotel to hide because I couldn't go through with it. I texted him, promising to never contact him again or name him as the father if he'd leave me alone. At first, he tried to convince me, but when I didn't give in, he said some nasty things and warned me to stay away. Now, 2 years later, I have a 2-year-old child. It hasn't always been easy, but we're doing okay. I've kept my promise not to involve him as the father or ask for support. His ex-wife contacted me on social media. She wants to talk and mentioned their kids knowing their sibling and mine knowing theirs. It feels strange to me. I haven't replied to her yet. I'm unsure how to handle this. Should I consider letting my child know their siblings if she's sincere? If I were in her shoes, I don't think I'd feel the same way. Update 1. On Friday night, I messaged her, though I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe I just wanted the chance to apologize. I suggested meeting face-to-face since I wasn't sure it was really her. She agreed, but I was too nervous, so we did a video chat instead. I didn't know what to expect. She wouldn't be wrong to be angry with me. It was indeed her. She mentioned discovering our affair after stumbling upon our communications, even after our relationship had ended. She revealed that I was just one of many women he had affairs with over the years, and she even knew about someone else before me. Despite this, she didn't end their marriage until she learned about my child. She graciously accepted my apology for my involvement with her husband, acknowledging that she knew he was married. While she had initial anger towards me, she ultimately directed her blame towards her husband. Though I'm not without fault, she chooses not to harbor hatred towards me. She admitted that she couldn't have said this 6 months or a year ago, but she has since moved past those feelings. Despite still feeling anger towards him, she opened up to me about their more than 20-year marriage and their life together. I felt awkward, unsure of what to say. Her children are aware of me and my son, and they're angry with their father. I doubt they're upset about his lack of involvement in my son's life, though. If I were in their shoes, I would probably feel the same way. I expressed my discomfort with the idea of my son meeting her children or becoming involved with their family, especially considering his young age. It just doesn't feel right to me at this time. Then she shared that her ex-husband had been in a serious accident 2 months ago. Thankfully, he's okay now, but still restricted from his usual activities. Given his typically active nature, it must be frustrating for him to be confined. She mentioned that he expressed a desire to meet my son. Apparently, she temporarily moved back in with him when he was discharged from the hospital. The accident has caused him to reflect on his regrets about not being involved with my son and not providing for him. Now it's like, was everything she said just a lie? And did he somehow get her to reach out to me on his behalf? And she actually did it? It felt almost like a relief talking to her initially, but then it's like, was any of that true? Or were you just trying to be his messenger? I don't even know if that part is true now. Why wouldn't he just contact me himself? I'm just feeling so uneasy about the whole thing now. Then I received a handwritten letter from him. In it, he expressed how he wanted to get to know our son. He wants to be a father to our son. He wants to provide financially for him. He'd like us to come visit him. He asked me to sign a paternity affidavit. I refused to do so. I know he is my son's father, but I'm not going to make this that easy for him. After the things he said to me and threatened me with, he at least has to work for this. At that point, my parents felt that we needed to meet with a lawyer. All communication from me has gone through a lawyer. I have never responded to him personally, directly. Now, I have a court order for paternity. I have to present my son to have a specimen taken tomorrow. I already know what it's going to say. It's not that I don't want my son to have a dad in his life. It's just, the whole situation is a mess. And he lives a few states away from me. I don't know what to do. I can't really do anything. He's doing things legally. Next, I'm sure he'll petition for some form of custody or visitation. He's not married anymore, supposedly, but he's a lot more established than I am. He has considerably more financial resources. I also know he has all sorts of connections where he lives. Luckily, they don't hold as much weight here in my state, but it's still so scary to me. I feel like a bad mom. I brought my son into this world knowing it was a messy situation. I just got so comfortable with it just being the two of us, and now I don't want to give that up. All I want is a peaceful life with my son. Is it still possible now?